Lady Horseman, I don't know if you go by Horsewomen or Horsemen, beats North Las Vegas Robertson for the state championship in 4 sets. And Coach, thanks so much for being our guest.
Thank you so much for having us. Really honored to be here. Still coming, still very high this week. Feeling really good. So I appreciate you acknowledging us and having me here today.
Well, you got the blue trophy in the background there, and the wonderful season St. Mike's had. Talk to us a little bit about it. You've had success there at St. Mike's. You've been there since 2017. You had a 17-7 record and 17-18. 2018 and 2019 state champions, district champions. 2019, 2020 state runner-up. COVID year, and that was a tough year for everybody in 2020, 21. Last year, state runner-up. This year, state champ. You've had some great success out there at St. Mike's, and talk about it's tough to build a consistent winner, right? It's tough. Talk a little bit about that because, again, the COVID year messed everybody up, right? It really did. It did. But talk about what it's been like to build a consistent winner at St. Mike's.
It's been, really great. I finished a cycle. So the ones that I started with in 7th grade are now seniors this year. We build a program from the 7th grade up because I do have the junior high also. So I have 5 teams. It's not just a high school program. And we coach the varsity team the same way we coach the 7th grade team the same way we coach the varsity team. It's same, consistent all the way through. I have amazing, amazing coaches that support my philosophy and the way I run things. We have contracts for the girls and the parents and the coaches to sign, so we all know what's expected every year. It's really great because year after year, the girls that come into the program know what it's all about. And like I said, it's the same from 7th grade on. And we have approximately between 70 and 75 amazing young women that I get to mentor and get to be a part of this program and believe fully in it. So that makes it easier because everyone's really invested in it. And, like I said, it's the same from 7th grade up. So, couldn't ask for anything better.
You know what? When you mentioned contracts, you mentioned expectations. Those are things, some people may wonder about that, and those seem to me to be a throwback. I think there has to be expectations on the court, in the classroom, as far as our program, what we expect, right? That way, it cuts through any ambiguity as far as what is expected, right? You want to win, sure. You want character, I'm sure. You want good performance in the classroom, right? This is a privilege to be a part of any program, and the volleyball, and being part of a winning program, man, that's, everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to win. Not everybody can win, and it's hard to establish consistent winners. It really is. I told you, I've been around programs for a long time. Western New Mexico, where I covered the football team, just had their first winning season since '93. That's almost 30 years, right? Reason to celebrate for one season. Then it's like, how do you do this over and over? And that's the key. So I got to ask you, as far as your expectations when you came in, that's a lot of young girls you're mentoring through and coaching a whole bunch. You have influence over a whole bunch of young females. Unbelievable, right? And there's so many different ways you can influence. Talk about when you structured your program like that. Did you model it after someone else, or what made you model it? Contracts, expectations. Was there someone else that you modeled it after?
Well, I've had several amazing coaches, and St. Michael's is a college prep school and really focused on academics. And so throughout the contract, we reference our players as student athletes, students always first. And at the end of the year, we have a little competition between teams about which team has the highest GPA, and we recognize all the girls that have a GPA of 4.0 or higher, which are a lot of them, which is pretty amazing. And so we stress about being a student first, because that's really the goal at the end of the day, is to be a good student. And athletics is always second, but with that, the volleyball program is competitive at St. Mike's, which is really, really a good problem to have. We do have to make cuts every year, which is the hardest week for a coach, but it's, like I said, it's a good problem to have because so many great student athletes are coming out to the program. And, I played volleyball, basketball, and softball, so I have lots of history with many different amazing coaches that I kind of, put in all the wonderful things about every coach that I've had into how I want to build my program. And so, from Roseanne Nodell, who was a great mentor, Chella Butler, Ron Nodell, who was my softball coach, Debbie Garcia, who was also a basketball coach, does all those things that we used or that I experienced when I was in high school, or, coaching under Chella or coaching under Steve Long. I've implemented all of those, as well as being a mom and seeing what my kids have gone through with other coaches and what were really positive things and influential things. I kind of mixed all of that into one. And so lots of good feedback for many years that I was able to put into that.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's worked, right? It's worked. And, a lot of people are going to ask you, what's your formula? What's worked, and what works for Coach Sandoval may not work for others, right? And, of course, I talked to a Gateway Christian football coach, Sean Wigley, a number of weeks ago. You got to have the Jimmies and the Joes, he said. Right now, in your case, the Susies and the Stellas, or whoever you want to call it, you got to have the players, right? You have to have the players. And St. Mike's, with the success that you've had, what is it that makes the team so successful? Is it the liberos, the setters, the passers? Has to be a combination of a lot of things to be successful in volleyball, right? You got to have people at the net blocking. You got to have good defense, offensive attacks. What's been the key? Again, it's a program that's had success for several years. What's been the overall success that you've seen from your program?
Well, I think there's several aspects. Not all of my girls play club volleyball. We have multi-sport athletes. We have some that play club. We have I just have to say they're so invested, and they're so committed, and they're so, they're hard workers. We go through practice, and practices aren't easy any day, and they work towards that. St. Mike's is small. We only have about 450 kids, so we don't always get the tallest girls, or we don't have, 100 girls trying out where we're going to pick the 6-footers. We don't always have that. So it's really about hard work and believing in how we're managing the program and working hard. Like, we can make any person a really good passer, and we can work with how those girls stay defensive at the net, and how to block a good hitter, and how to read the shoulder of a hitter and play that defense. We focus a lot on defense throughout the year, and realize that offense will come later. Once we're able to pass, a lot of things come into play. So, for the first couple months of volleyball, we focus strictly on serving and passing.
Talk a little bit about the defense. You mentioned that, reading the shoulder. Mm-hmm. There's one girl at Western that was really had 1,000 kills in her career, but I noticed they started blocking a lot of those at the net. She's not particularly tall; it's about 5'9", right? She elevates, but I noticed in conference play they scouted her. She likes to do it from the opposite side, and they started scouting her, double blocking her. And so, when you talk about reading the shoulder, what do you mean?
We focused a lot on blocking, especially with my middles. They did a great job at the state tournament about penetrating over the net and getting that block, or watching that shoulder. They can either go turn to, hit the line shot, or, a hard cross court. And so we've taught them about open spots and where that set is to where they can turn that hit. So, we've taught our defense and our blockers about, following that set, following the player, pressing over, reading the shoulder. There's lots of steps into being defensive at the net. So they did a really great job this weekend.
Well, I'll tell you what, you just taught me a lot, right? Because when I cover, I don't have time to get into. I know hoops. You asked me about basketball, I'm going to tell you about it. But that's something that at least I can look at and think about the next time I'm covering. Well, I'm on myself. I don't have a color guy or a color person at Western New Mexico. You've also been a club volleyball coach eighth grade coach, club volleyball again. So all these, you've also worked with the Children, Youth, and Families Department for 23 years. And that's a long time, boy. I'll tell you one thing, working in government, I worked in government for 30 years. If you've done 20 or 10 years, that's a lot. Yeah, it really is. I mean, government can be the best place, and sometimes it can be the worst, and sometimes could be both all at once. It really can on any given day. How's that experience molded you into the coach that you are too? Because again, children, youth, and families, that's, a lot of what you do. How's that helped you mold you into the coach you are as well? You mentioned working with coaches and kids and things like that. How has that helped you manage being a coach as well?
Well, I started in state government pretty young. I get to retire in 2 years. I don't know that I will, but that's definitely an option. But, it's also taught me about discipline. I started as a student intern way at the bottom and worked my way up into the position that I am now. And I think I get to portray that to, amazing young women about how we can be leaders in the community as well. And I'm sure that one of these young women is going to be president one day. They all have really good head on their shoulders. They're ready to be leaders out in the world. We're trying to teach them not just about volleyball, but about life skills and how volleyball, translates into life experiences and how to deal with some of those things. Like we had our only loss to Robertson, and we were hoping to go undefeated. It didn't happen, but those things are life lessons, and we had some tears, and we had to learn how to come out of bounce back after a really big loss. And so those things do help. And as far as my job, I love my job. I get to help families and kids across the state of New Mexico, which is, one of my passions. And so, I just get to continue that in the sport of volleyball as well.
Coach, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about the season that St. Mike's had after these messages on the sports desk.
Great.
So we approach the halfway point of the second half. Penny Hashkin's behind the defense now. A chance to knot this. It's a 2-goal game as Penny Hashigan gets a beauty from her sister Maddie Hashigan.
Well, here it's still 14-7, 3rd and 15. Montoya, it's just a draw. Stovall breaks one. He gets a block, and there it is, first down. How about Stovall? But I'll tell you what, it was the block of Makai Gonzalez that sprung that one free.
The stiffness in those balls they got today.
Pasquet-Bell's going to keep it. He sees a huge hole up the middle. Now he cuts to the sideline. He's got one more man to beat. Pasquet-Bell is going to go in for the touchdown. No, they marked him short.
For her team as she feeds that one.
Wow, great ball in.
Savannah Sanchez, can she get number 2? She dishes it to Solis.
Unselfish. How unselfish was that play?
Amazing.
What a beautiful ball dished off for the guaranteed goal. I love it.
That info today and help these guys out.
He's out in motion at the top. They'll hand it up the middle instead. Huge hole. He's shot out of a cannon, and he is in. It's a touchdown for Andres Villalobos.
Castro, there's the screen. It's complete. Oh, he escaped the first tackler. Breaks a tackle. Nothing but green. Rumbling. Stumbling. He could go all the way. That's Kenneth Size. Sizes up the end zone for 6. With the body language, Jackson went to the sideline.
Interception right into the hands of Gabe Pino, and Pino's off to the races. It's a touchdown for Volcano Vista. It's a pick six for Pino. Fires score on a 47-yard run for Villalobos. The extra point was no good, and it's 14-6. Smashed it up. Byron Cooper alongside 30-yard line for this one starter. He's going to keep it. This is Cordova looking for some room. Cordova's got some room. He cuts back up the middle. Can they chase him down? No. T-Sizzle is going to the house. It's a touchdown for Tristan Cordova.
That reads out Boston Cordova.
Lovington can be dangerous from here.
We'll see what they do. Lucas Contreras, he goes for goal, and he's got it! He's done that twice in his career, and this time it puts his team ahead on the Hope Christian Huskies. And welcome back here. Right on time for the second half. He goes for goal, and he makes it!
Are you kidding me? Brian Ramirez saw the keeper sleeping, and he just did him right off the kickoff. Oh my goodness.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
We fight the battles no one hears about. We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on our Facebook page. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Our special guest today, coach of the St. Mike's volleyball team, girls volleyball team. They beat Las Vegas Robertson this past weekend for the state title, and that's St. Mike's second state title. I knew you, Coach.
Sir, yes, sir.
Second state title. You got the blue behind you. Coach, we had a good talk in the first segment about your expectations, how to build a program, right? I admire that, Coach. I really do. It's hard to win. Like I said, people just don't get it. They expect wins to just, fall out of the trees. It takes a lot of work, right? It takes a lot of repetition, a lot of discipline, a lot of caring, compassion, all those things, right? because we're not gonna win them all. That's the thing. And I want to ask you this. You mentioned you lost to Robertson earlier in the year, right? And there were some tears afterward. Now, I always said, and I told you this during the break, I want to know what we got from some adversity. We're not going to win them all. I don't want to lose, but sometimes it rechecks us. It makes us focus. What are we doing wrong? What do we have to do going forward? Talk a little bit about what that meant to the girls and what point of the season was it, and how did they respond after?
Sure. We lost to them at home. It was the second time we played them for district. It was in late October, close to the end of the season. We did go 5 with them. We didn't lose by a lot. It was a really good game. We didn't play our best, and that's really the truth about that game. I had a couple sick girls, and not at all taking away anything from Robertson. They came and they really excited. They brought a lot of energy. Their best hitter, Jaylee Gonzalez, played outstanding. I just don't think we just didn't play great. I don't think we played with as much energy as we normally do. We seemed a little flat. It was a hard loss, but at the same time, I really thought it taught the girls, hey, we're not invincible. We were undefeated up until that time. We have to play good every single game. There's lots of great teams, and I think we had a really hard schedule, and we beat some really, really good 4 and 5A schools earlier in the season. And, I don't know if we were a little laxed or if we were just a little, we got this. We already beat them once. We beat them over there 3-0. And so, my varsity team, we have journals and we write certain things in our journals every week. And so I asked them to reflect on that loss. And, they were really honest, and they had to dig deep into their heart about how they felt about it and why we lost and why we, they thought we lost. I don't want to just, tell the girls, oh, we lost because we didn't do this. I really want them to also evaluate themselves and evaluate the game. And I think they did a really great job. They were honest in their responses, and I think that's one reason about how we were able to overcome it and learn from it. And we walked into the state tournament with such confidence and such energy, and we were so close knit, from the very first game to the last game, and I'm just, I'm so proud of them.
Sometimes when a team gets on a roll like that, and the way you said they felt going into the state tournament, they've been a good team. You've proven that all year long, right? Sometimes that's why we play the games, though. We don't know what's going to happen. But
Right.
if you feel in the way that you did going into the state tournament, that tells me something, because you know your team better than anyone. You know it. You got the hand on the pulse. You know about that player, what's wrong, what's going on, right? You read them all. That's a lot of pulses to read, by the way. It really is. You have to be seriously, right? And then you have to have your assistant coaches know too, right? Maybe maybe you didn't see something, they did. So it has to be all tied in. Talk about your tournament run. I want to know about it. We want to know about it. Tell us about your state, the tournament run, the district, all the way to the championship. Tell us about it.
We did get the number 1 seed, which was really exciting for us. And our first game we were playing the winner of Thoreau or Cottonwood Classic, and Cottonwood Classic beat Thoreau, and so we beat Cottonwood Classic 3-0. And then our next game was against Sandia Prep, who had beat Santa Fe Indian School. And I feel like we always somehow meet up with Sandia Prep in the state tournament. Audra's a really good coach. We know that she runs a good program. And they have some really big girls on that team, and they're athletic and they're competitive. And so, when I saw Sandia Prep, I was like, we can just never get away from them. We see them every state tournament, but, and they beat us last year in the first round of the state tournament, and we had to battle our way back through the losers bracket last year. And so we were hoping that doesn't happen this year, and we're trying to learn from those mistakes last year. And so we ended up beating Sandia Prep 3-0 in the quarterfinals, which put us in the semifinals against Bosque, who battled their way back from the losers bracket up to the semifinals, and we beat Bosque 3-0 as well, which put us into the finals against Las Vegas Robertson. in that state finals game, we won the first game. And then Las Vegas Robertson won the second game, and then we ended up winning the third and fourth. And my girls played so amazing. Our defense was outstanding. Again, holding their best hitter to 10 or 15 hits, which is still a lot.
Yeah, right.
Game.
But what does she normally get? What does she normally average?
Well, the last time we played her, when they beat us, she had over 30, and so.
Oh yeah, that's a
So that's a big accomplishment for us, and she's a great player. My middles, Alana and Mia, had an outstanding game at the state finals. They were really able to slow down the ball for us and be a wall, as we call it, against their hitters, and get them a little frustrated. Our setters, Marisa and Carly did great about spreading the ball around and among all of our hitters. So Rebecca and Marisa and Maya and Alana and Mia and Carmen all could do a really great job of hitting. It's all players played great. There wasn't just one person who played amazing. It was a total team effort, and I think one of my hitters had 10 kills, another one had 12, another one had 11. So I think that speaks like it's not just one person, it's a whole team when it's evenly spread out that way.
Which is even better, right?
Absolutely.
Team, right? Team.
Finally,
we want to let you get this in with, we got a couple minutes left. Tell us about your team, your roster, your stats, whatever you feel is pertinent to this 2022 championship run beating Robertson. Tell us, go over some stats if you'd like, or tell us about, you mentioned some players. Go ahead and tell us about your team.
The good thing is I only have 2 seniors, and so I'm only losing 2. Yeah, so
look out.
We should be pretty competitive again next year, hopefully. And then just about our schedule, I just want to, instead of stats of an individual person, I just want to say, we beat Los Alamos, who's 4A. They were in the state semifinals. We beat Albuquerque Academy this year, who was also in the, state quarter semifinals.
Pretty good team. Yeah, pretty good.
Beat Pius in 4A, who was in the state final.
Yes.
We beat Hope Christian, who was also in the semifinals, and we beat Los Lunas, who was in 5A quarterfinals. And so I think that speaks volumes about this team and how we played this year and how hard our schedule was. Like, our record was, 26-1, but within those 26 wins, there were some really big wins against some really good teams. And, and I think that all helped us prepare for Saturday at 5:00, that big game that everybody was hoping we got to, and we won.
You know what? I think it's a culmination of just the way the team played. You did have that one little hiccup, and sometimes I say, like I said, it's good. We refocus, right? And we listen, say coach was right. Sometimes we're not listening. They're young ladies, right? Right. That's what I love about kids. They think they know it all, right? They don't, and then later they come and tell you, coach, you were right? So that's why I love the excitement about, enthusiasm about young people, man. It doesn't get any better than a championship that you had against Las Vegas Robertson on Saturday in 3 sets. Coach Valerie Sandoval, St. Mike's, a volleyball girls coach, state champion 2022, and you got the blue right behind you. I love it. Congratulations, and thanks so much for being our guest today on the Sports Desk.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
You bet. For producer Alden Iwani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next week on the Sports Desk.